Hey everybody, it's Greg and it's another edition of Unbreakable the podcast. It is Tuesday, June the 18th. And well, I can forget to do this, and I never forget to include our buddy. There he is, the patron saint of the podcast, Bud himself, Mr. Tongue Man. We miss him and we love him. Bud, happy birthday to Paul McCartney out there. I'm sure you're watching. I'm sure you are. Um, what can I say? He's been a not only a great joy in my life with the music that he's made, along with the Beatles, and but it's just been a big part of my life. What can I say? Reading books on him and the Beatles, and just I mean, he just keeps going on and on and on. The guy is what 82 years old, and he's just an icon, you know. And I saw that he just posted some more gigs, upcoming gigs in the fall in Europe. I'm sure he's going to be coming to America probably early next year. It wouldn't surprise me, but he just keeps going on and on. We have to appreciate him and Ringo and other music icons who are still with us while they're still with us, right? So yeah, maybe some of these guys can't sing as well as they used to, but it goes way beyond that. It's just appreciating them and appreciating what they've done for so many years, and what an influence they have on our lives, as people. And I agree. Some of the ticket prices are outrageous. Who can afford to go see a lot of these icons? Like the Rolling Stones were recently in town, and you know, uh, but if you can afford it, it's certainly well worth seeing, because seeing someone like Paul McCartney in person is something you never forget, something you're going to talk about for years and years and years and years, well after Paul is gone. You know, so I've only seen him once live, and that was a few years ago when he played Citizens Bank Park, and it was pretty cool. He was still in pretty good voice and looked good, and he uh, he really put in, a 3 hour show. I mean, you're talking about a guy who, in late 70s, that to even just to stand up there on stage for 3 hours without a break is pretty amazing. But this guy just kept on going and going on and going, one hit after another. Think about all the songs he has had a part of over the years, uh, either solo or uh, written with John Lennon. Let It Be, and all the Beatles songs, that he wrote yesterday, and it's just we know how big of a legend Paul McCartney is, but when you stop and think about all the music this guy's had part of, it sometimes can be overwhelming. I went back and I watched every so often you go back and watch A Hard Day's Night, the movie. And of course, everybody was so young back then. And but I think it's kind of cool because you see how someone like McCartney was back then, and you see him now, and you think about everything he has gone through, all the people he has seen, all the places he has played, all the music he has made. And it really um, hits home, uh, how big of a legend he is. Um, so anyway, happy birthday, Paul McCartney. Many, many more. I hope so. And Yeah, he keeps putting out music. One hand clapping. The album just came out this week, and recordings he did in the '70s with Wings, and they sound great. They sound just as fresh as if they recorded them yesterday. So so there's always new stuff by the Beatles coming out. The one thing the Beatles were great at is marketing, and they still are. The people who run the Beatles, they always seem to have a new book or a new record or something coming out, especially around Christmas time for Christmas. And that's the way it was when the group was together. They would always have something specially out for Christmas, and they knew how to market themselves. That's part of the thing, if you write a book or uh, make a record, you have to market it, and because if nobody knows about it, right, it's not going to sell. So um, so anyway, happy birthday, Paul. And Phillies, huh? Phillies won last night. All it took was a little home cooking, right? And they got back home and they pounded out, I don't know how many hits. It seemed like everybody in the lineup had 2 hits apiece. Uh, at least Alec Bohm is still hot, 3 hits for him. Marshawn had 4 hits. So, I'm not worried about the Phillies. They had a long, long, long road trip. Think about it. They went over 18 different time zones in 2 weeks between going to Colorado and San Francisco and back, and London and back, Boston, Baltimore. Oh my God. No wonder they were pooped, huh? But they're back home, and hopefully they're going to pick up where they left off, right? And once they get JT back, they'll be even stronger. So, gotta love the Phillies. Gotta love them. And tonight Aaron Nola goes, and I think he's gonna have a good game. You know why? Aaron Nola loves to pitch when it's hot and humid, and boy, it's really hot and humid here in Pennsylvania. Oh my God, he loves it. So I would say he's going to have a good game. A good game tonight. He hasn't been striking down as many people this year, but it wouldn't surprise me if he struck out a ton of people tonight, beat the Padres. So we'll see what happens. Tomorrow I'll be at the game, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to be hotter than hell down there, but Johnny, keep hydrated. A lot of water, a lot of ice cream. And it's always fun to go down to the game. And afternoon game against the Padres. So that'll be fun. And so, Phillies back home again. The last 27 games, they've won 24 home games out of 27, 24-3. Can you imagine that? Mm-hmm. The crowd, they feed off the crowd, and the crowd just gets so jacked up. They're like rock stars, these guys are, and it's just a mutual love affair. They had another sellout last night. The game I'm going to tomorrow is already sold out. I wouldn't be surprised if it's sold out tonight. It's getting back to like the way baseball was here in Philadelphia back in the early part of this century, when we had our really great team: Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, Paul Hamill, Ron Howard, and the place was selling out every single week. So it's gotten back to that. It's just it's fun times. It's fun times to have baseball back in Philly. Now, Philly is always going to be an Eagles town. And look at me, all eagled up, right? Tickets went on sale today, single weekend tickets for the season. I hope everybody was lucky enough to get in there and at least get a game, right? But even if you did, it's going to be a great season. Uh, you know, I think it's really going to be a Super Bowl season. I'm not just saying that because I'm a homer, which I am. I agree, I am. But I really do think the Eagles are going to win the NFC East. That's number one. Number one for several reasons. I mean, they're good. They're better this year. Uh, the rest of the teams in the division aren't as good. Dallas hasn't improved. Uh, and no one has won the NFC East 2 years in a row since 2004 when the Eagles did it. Dallas won last year, so somebody else's turn. Since Washington and the Giants aren't quite there yet, I don't think. I think it's the Eagles' turn to win the division. So get in, baby, get into the playoffs, and anything can happen, right? I don't think the 49ers are going to be as good this year. Team that loses the Super Bowl usually isn't as good the following year. Sometimes they don't even make the playoffs, let alone get back to the Super Bowl. So uh Green Bay's going to be a really good team. So is Detroit. And the Rams, can't count them out. So, it's not going to be easy. But Jalen Hurts is the key to the whole thing. You could have great receivers, which the Eagles did, and a defense, which they have built back up again, hopefully, with a new defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. And you could have all the strength on the offensive line, fantastic kicker, and Saquon Barkley running out of the backfield. You could have all that. But if you don't have a consistent quarterback who is playing at a high level, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. You have to have that quarterback. Hopefully, Jalen Hurts will rebound this year and have himself a good year. If not, Eagles are pretty well screwed. They have some backups, but they're not starters. That's why they're backups, right? So we gotta hope that Jalen Hurts stays healthy. We gotta hope he has his head on straight, and he plays football. He doesn't worry about all the outside stuff, right? He's got a lot of weapons. What's not to like about the offense? So Jalen Hurts, just do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. So that's going on. And then we saw the Boston Celtics, the evil ones, won the NBA title last night. It's their 18th title. So they take over as the team that has won the most championships in the NBA ever. Is that disgusting? Huh? I gotta say, Boston has a good team. You knew they were going to do it all year. They just steamrolled everybody. They just toyed with other teams, When they were bored, they wouldn't play so well. But then the next game, they usually came back, and played well. And the way they shoot more threes, make more threes, that should be a lesson to the other teams in the league. That's the way basketball is nowadays. Shoot threes. The more threes you make, the more threes threes beat twos. It's math, right? So I don't know. Maybe more teams will stock up on 3-point shooters. We'll see. But Boston just had the chemistry this year. They added Drew Holiday. They added some key players, and got him over the hump. So good for them. It makes me sad that the Sixers are not in the same class. They are light years away from where a lot of these teams in the playoffs are and were. It makes me frustrated and angry that this Sixers management sucks. It's the best way I can. They suck. Daryl Morey has had time to turn this franchise around, and he hasn't done it. That's the bottom line. Whether it's draft or whether it's trades, he just hasn't done it. And he hasn't done it anywhere he's been in charge. So it's time for him to go. He won't go because the owner, Josh Harris, really doesn't care. He cares about making money and he cares about getting a new arena built downtown, but he doesn't really care about the winning and losing. He doesn't really care about the fans. He's running around between franchises, Washington football franchise, Jersey Devils hockey, Sixers basketball. So, you know, he needs to go too. He needs to sell the team to an owner who's going to be fully committed and focused on putting a winner in town. I've said something for years and years. The Sixers will never, ever win a championship until they change the culture on that team. And what do I mean by that? They keep bringing in these losers. All the Sixers have to do is look across the street. When the Phillies brought in Dave Dombrowski, he was a winner. He's a proven winner. And Phillies' fortunes changed. All of a sudden, they started getting better players. They had the farm system started to improve. They were making better trades, signing better free agents. And a lot of it goes to John Middleton, the owner, for being willing to open his pocketbook and spend some money. He's committed to bringing a winner back to Philadelphia, and so is Dombrowski. And the other thing is they have a winning culture on that team now. They expect to win. They expect to win. And this year, anything less than winning the World Series will be a disappointment. Getting to the World Series is cool, but they did that. They did that a couple years ago against Houston. They almost did it last year. So getting there is nice, but the ultimate goal is winning the World Championship. And that's nothing less will do for the Phillies. They're at that stage right now. Sixers have never gotten even close to that stage. I mean, they can't even get past the second round of the playoffs. They didn't even get past the first round of the playoffs this year. It beats me why more people, more fans, so-called fans, aren't protesting and aren't asking for Josh Harris to sell the team, Daryl Morey to resign. You know, are they going to put up with? Okay, that's fine. Put up with what you got. Don't expect a winner. If you're satisfied with just getting to the playoffs, that's fine. Then don't expect the championship. Now, because that's what's going to happen. The Sixers are never, ever, ever, ever going to win until they change the attitude and the culture on the team. And it starts at the top. Joel Embiid, he gets hurt all the time. He is sliding out of his prime pretty soon, if he hasn't already. Tyrese Maxey is a nice player, but is he going to be able to carry the team? I don't know. The Sixers are disappointing because you see the rival Celtics and what they've done, and they've made their team better and better every year to the point where they've now won a championship. And you ask yourself, why can't the Sixers do it? Why can't they? They could. They just don't have the personnel to evaluate talent like the Celtics do. No excuses. And the fans should be outraged. And the media, instead of sucking up to the Sixers management, should talk about, it should write, the truth. Basically, that the Sixers need to clean house in their front office. That's what they need to do. So, if you want to be satisfied with average, that's fine. If you want a championship, like Boston has, Boston's going to be celebrating a parade in, I guess, a couple days, right? If you want that, then Sixers have to make some changes. I think we're going to see two parades this year in Philadelphia. We're going to see the Phillies win the World Series because they're determined, they have experience, they have the motivation, they know what it takes to win, and I truly believe they're going to win the World Series this year. That's number one. Number two, I do think the Eagles, I'm not as sure about the Eagles, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles do win the World Championship this year because they have everything that they need. They have all the tools in the toolkit. They just need to apply themselves and do it. That's all they need to do. So there's a possibility we could have here in Philadelphia two parades within a few months at the end of the year and at the beginning of next year. So we'll see what happens. So anyway, that's what we have to talk about today. Tomorrow I'll be at the game, so I probably won't have a podcast. Everybody stay cool and stay well. It's this heat wave is just starting and it's supposed to go on for at least another week or so. So everybody drink a lot of water. I've got my pink water. And everybody stay hydrated and stay cool and stay safe. And if you don't have to go outside, don't exert yourself. So it's not worth it. Your health should be the number one priority, especially when you have a weather like this. Okay. Heat is did you know that heat is the number one cause of death? It is. Not blizzards, not tornadoes, not hurricanes, heat. So everybody stay safe and stay healthy. Peace and love. Talk to you soon again. Happy birthday, Paul. Bye-bye. Cheerio.